Hey there! My name is Joshua Ho, student at Ohlone College, studying communication. Now, you're probably here because you signed up for one of the most boring classes at Ohlone. Just kidding. When I first started taking communication, I took it solely for the purpose of knocking out my GE requirements. But I quickly discovered that not only is this field of study very useful in life, it's also really fascinating. Now, you're most likely here because of the title. You're probably asking the question, what can I do to be successful in this course? In this video, I am going to be sharing with you several tips on what you can do to succeed in your communication course. Let's begin. Perhaps one of the biggest things to succeeding in this course is to get you into the right mentality. Believe it or not, I've got some breaking news for you, especially for those of you who just finished high school. You're in college! You're at the age where you and you alone are now responsible for your education. In a way, that means more freedom, but with freedom comes responsibility. I can assure you that the course content, as well as the lecture and lab sessions, will be made available to you, but no one's going to force you to do anything. However, succeeding in this course starts with you being willing to make the effort. The amount of effort you put in will dictate how well you do in the end. So please do yourselves a favor, take ownership of your education, and make the right decisions. The second point I would like to make is to read the syllabus and follow directions. The syllabus contains information about the course in general and the expectations for you. Read it because that's how you'll be able to know what can cause you to fail the course, or even better yet, what can cause you to succeed in the course. Following directions is especially important. Let me give you an example. A while ago, I had heard from someone that they emailed the instructor but didn't get any response. Obviously, they were distraught and thought that the instructor was just being unhelpful. What had actually happened was that the student had used their personal email to email the instructor instead of their student email. As a result, their message ended up getting moved to the spam folder. What really puzzled me was the fact that the syllabus had specifically stated that if students had to email their instructor, then they should use their student email. So it's not because the instructor didn't respond, it's because the student didn't follow directions and contact them in the way they were supposed to. In a sense, it really wouldn't hurt to pay attention to detail when it comes to following directions. Don't you just hate it when you're working on a group project and there just has to be this one person that waits until the very last minute to get things done? Yes, that is what I would call the fine arts of procrastination. Great way for someone to stress themselves out unnecessarily by waiting until the very last minute to get things done. But even more so for the group members if it's a group assignment, because they also get to partake in the panic party that occurs when someone waits until the very last minute. My advice here is really simple. 3 words. Do not procrastinate. If possible, try to get your assignments done several days before the due date, or even better yet, several weeks prior to the due date. Remember,
procrastinating is just another way of saying, I'm gonna worry about this assignment later. Literally, like never before. Although this is a communication class that you're taking, you unfortunately will still have some written assignments, which may include, but are not limited to, online discussion boards, reflection papers, and literature reviews. In order to do well on those, you need to be proficient in your grammar and essay writing skills. So if you haven't already, I would highly suggest that you also take English 101A, and it's required for your GE anyway.
Since this is a communication class, you will definitely have opportunities to speak in front of people. This is especially true if you're taking COM 111, aka public speaking. So this next point is to practice your speeches and or group presentations. Prior to the big day, be sure to run through the presentation or speech several times as if it was the real thing. If you're taking public speaking, then I would highly recommend that you take advantage of the communication lab. There are tutors in the lab who will be more than happy to help you out. Although during the COVID-19 pandemic, it will take place virtually online via Zoom, here are the locations for the communication lab in both the Fremont and NEWARK campus once we get to meet back in person. The communication lab for the Fremont campus is located in Building 3 on the 4th floor, room 3418. The communication lab in the NEWARK campus is located in room NC 1110, CRANIUM Cafe in the NEWARK Learning Resource Center, 1st floor, Wing 1. The final point, and no pun intended, is communicate. If you ever need help with something, then please don't hesitate to let your instructor or TA know, and of course use your student email if you do decide to email them. Don't be afraid to ask questions because that's what they're here for. If you're not doing as well as you wanted in this course, then I would suggest meeting with the instructor during their office hours or by appointment to discuss your situation and how you can get back on track. No, like seriously, they're here to help you do well, so please give them the opportunity to do that for you.
So these are the tips that I have to offer to you guys on what you can do to succeed in your communication class. To summarize, in order to do well in your communication course, you need to be responsible, know what's expected of you, follow directions, manage your time well, devote some time to practicing your speeches and presentations, and be willing to ask for help if you need it. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck.